pushes boundaries, explores genre fluidity, speaks his truth through an authentic perspective, and is often non-traditional, anti-institutional, socially responsible, or disruptive of any existing structures and conventions. Learn more and apply at collectivepowernw.org.
Different rules apply when it gets to sleep. You know what I mean? It's like the after hours.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
Hello, I'm an unpaid spokesman for DJ Sotovaci. I'd like to invite you to listen to his free-form music show. It's popular music the way it was never intended to be heard. Whatever gets you through the night, late nights, here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Whatever gets you through the night.
All lovers, check out the Quiet Storm Dedication Show with Sergio LaCour on Love Lines. Thursdays, 9 p.m. Pacific on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
I love the music.
My name is Josephine, and I live in Renton, Washington. Even after getting COVID in 2020, I still did not want to have anything to do with the vaccination. There was much fear in the African American community. Before you do anything, pray. And make sure that you're praying to get the answer and not praying to get your answer. Reconsider, asking yourself why you are hesitant about getting it. To learn more, please visit weconsiderwa.org.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at rainieravenue.radio.world.
Well, hello there, world, and that's the Shattering Glass. You're here with Bettina, Carey, the founder and CEO of We Empower You, and we're all about shattering glass ceilings right down to the floor, live on Rainier Avenue Radio. And I have been asking myself this question over the years, and you might be too, and that is, how do I raise my fees? Does the mere thought of asking for more money give you the wet willies? Well, with me today is Jan Wallen, and she's the author of Raise Your Fees Without Losing Clients. Jan will be discussing with me simple steps to achieve the income you want using her value framework, Outcomes Power Income. For over a decade, Jan Wallen has worked with thousands of business-to-business consultants, coaches, speakers to raise their fees and their revenue. They master her 5 simple steps to the income they want and gain the confidence to raise their fees without losing clients. Jan combines her corporate account executive and sales mentoring experience with the art of and science of persuasion. She's known for getting extraordinary results faster than with traditional methods, with the tools that take you from start to finish. Her insights are sought out, and she's a source for many, including publications and media like NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox News, Business News Daily, The Business Insider, and podcasts like ours. When Jan's not speaking and strategizing, you will find her with friends in New York City, where she's having very interesting and stimulating conversations, meeting new people, spotting trends, and painting colorful watercolors. Anyway, how do you work with and evolve your fees? This is the conversation we're having with Jan Wallen today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, wonderful. Bettina, so glad to be here. It's wonderful.
Yes, it is great. You know, we were talking last week as we were planning for this show, and I got to know quite a bit, and we have a lot in common. The conversation that you're having with us here today is music to my ears. This is something I enjoy talking about, in that shattering the glass ceiling, revenue, earnings, whatever you want to call it. So how did you get into doing the work that you're doing?
That's a good question. I had the opportunity during the last year to take a sabbatical, and I really stepped away from my business and had a chance to think and reflect. And as I started thinking about what's really important to me, I realized that it's always been a concern to me that so many entrepreneurs undercharge and don't know how to raise their fees or ask for more money. So I started thinking that was something that I could do something about. And then 2 clients called me and asked if I could help them through the fees conversation. Mm-hmm. So I said, yes, certainly. And I did work with them. And afterwards, they stepped up. They had the conversation just like we had practiced. They asked for higher fees. They got the higher fees and got bonuses 9 months earlier than they would have ordinarily. And that was really what made me realize and decide I was going to write a book and provide services from now on around that.
Wonderful. I'm not quite sure. There's a little bit of a background noise there, but hopefully that'll get fixed. And so this, you set yourself into this working with folks on raising their fees and getting more earnings and revenue into their coffers. And I'm excited to talk to you because you have a system, right? And whenever someone has a system, I want to know what that system is. Tell me a little bit about expertise DNA before we get diving into this.
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the best things you could have asked first. There are two things that are really important in my system and things that for people to do right away. One of them is knowing your expertise DNA. That is like an umbrella over your expertise and skills that you have. Many of my clients are multi-talented. They can do many things and they have done many things.
Yeah.
And if you do so many things and don't really know what that expertise DNA umbrella is, it's hard to talk about it. And so I've developed a process when I was working with Fortune 500 CEOs. They were looking for new opportunities and they really needed to differentiate themselves from everyone else out there. So I developed the process of identifying your unique combination of values, skills, and expertise. It differentiates you and positions you for your ideal clients. It's actually why someone is able to get the results they do for their clients. For example, one of the CEOs I worked with had extensive experience in sales and revenue generation.
Mm-hmm.
And the unique thing about him was he also had extensive experience in finance. That's an unusual combination. And it's because of those two things he has expertise in that he's able to get the results and turn companies around.
That's great. So that's an example of a client that you've worked with. Give us another example, maybe someone who's a female, they're working at a lower rate than usual, because this is typical for women where we under-earn.
Yes, exactly. I was working with someone else, and she works with executives and to lead meetings and executive presence. And many of her clients come to her through referrals. And so someone would come to her, she said, and say, can you help me with this? And she'd say yes. And then someone else would come, can you help me with that? And it was something different. And then someone else came in, can you help me with this? And she did. It was all part of what she did for her clients, only because she didn't really know how to explain it because it was different with every client that came in.
Mm-hmm.
She was uncomfortable even talking about fees because she was not certain with herself that she was bringing value to her clients. So how could she ask for more?
Right.
Yeah.
So the value,
yes, and the
value really comes into play. You might have a mic that's rubbing against something. There's a little scratchy sound going on there.
Okay, let me check it out.
That real quick.
Okay, thanks.
And so the working with folks in terms of the value, this is one of the biggest understandings that I think when folks set out to start a business and run a business, they may not really have a good understanding.
Yes.
How do you build value such that you can charge the fees that you deserve?
Well, it's very interesting, and you're absolutely right. It's hard. If you don't know the value, it's really hard. What I do is, first of all, identify someone's expertise DNA. So that's something about them, something unique about them. And when they know that, they understand the value that they bring. The next step is looking at and talking to your clients and getting to know your clients almost better than your best friend. What challenges are they facing? What exactly are they facing? In fact, I recommend talking to your clients and asking them, what are some of the things that are holding you back? Or what would you like to be able to do that you're not able to do now? And of course, right now is such a perfect opportunity because companies are facing things that they've never had to face before. So when you talk to your clients and find out what challenges they have and what results they want to get, then you have a way to fit your expertise into that, which shows you the value. You know, you understand your own value. You also then understand the value you're bringing to your clients.
So why is it so hard for folks to raise their fees if they understand their value and they understand that, you know, it's time for a change? What makes it really hard to make that happen?
It is really hard for a lot of people because, first of all, a lot of people are afraid I'll lose a client if I raise my fees. And what if I lose my client? I don't want to lose a client. Or some of them think, oh, you know, if I raise my fees, I'll not only lose a client, no one will want to work with me. And then I won't be able to do anything. Or they simply don't want to face rejection. I mean, rejection's not fun. We don't like to face rejection. And then some people simply don't know what to say to raise their fees. Or what if their client says your fees are too high? Then what do I say? So all these worries and fears and doubts start coming up. And it's, of course, much easier to keep on doing things the way you've always done it, to stay in your comfort zone. So many times I've talked to many clients and many people about this, and they say that these voices come up. And then pretty soon they start believing the voices and they say, oh, well, I'll raise my fees next time. I'll raise my fees next time. And then they never do it. Part of it is confidence and understanding that those of us who are always growing and learning and doing new things, our confidence goes up and down a bit. A lot of people think you need confidence before you raise your fees or before you do something. And it's actually backwards. Confidence comes from doing things that are new to us. And the more times you do them, they get more comfortable and your confidence goes up. So part of it is realizing these voices and our confidence, making friends with them. Because if you're not having any of these questions, you're in your comfort zone, you're staying in your comfort zone, and you're not going anywhere.
Yes, yes. So what are some of the things that you say? I mean, I know what I say when I'm ready to raise my fees or add an extra 0 or 2 next to my price.
Well, yes. What part of this is I really highly recommend knowing your clients very well first before you do that. And there are several different things. For example, I was talking to someone last week, and she was asking exactly the same thing and said, I've been working with this client for a very long time. And I hesitate to raise my fees because they're a good client and we're in the middle of a project. And in a case like that, you want to think about how to raise your fees or maybe introduce the idea of raising your fees or telling your client that you're raising your fees. And for the rest of your project, we're keeping it the same. And then we'll review the situation and my fees will be higher next time. So you don't have to all of a sudden go in unprepared and say, well, your fees are different now.
So it takes courage, it takes confidence, it takes the right languaging, it takes a lot to put yourself in that position. What are the top 3 things to do before you raise your fees?
Good question. The first thing is decide to raise your fees. Many people have been thinking about it for some time. Now you decide and then commit to raising your fees. Deciding and committing are not the same thing. When you're committed, you don't let anything stop you. And then number 3, go for it, full speed ahead.
There you go. You also say that there's one thing to never do.
Yes, I do. One thing never to do is wing it. You want to be so prepared that it feels natural and it feels right to you. Know your client, know their situation. What do you want to do for them? What do they want you to do? And when you're so prepared like this, and then you also practice the words of what to say, then you can go in confidently. And if, let's say, for example, you do go in and raise your fees, then there's a pause, and then the client says, oh, your fees are too high. Now that can look like several things. It can look like your fees are too high, or that's more than we were expecting, or that's over our budget. For any of these things, pause, breathe, and continue the conversation. Say, oh, that's above your budget? Tell me more. I want to be sure I'm clear. You want to know exactly why the client's saying that and what they mean by that. Mm-hmm. And then listen again. It's not an us and a them situation. You're in a conversation with someone who is working with you or wants to work with you. Don't take it personally. It's not. Yeah, it's their job to ask for if you can lower your fees.
And
so
I find too,
yeah.
I find too that sometimes it's just a little bit of a negotiation that has to happen, right? It could be a terms. Well, yes, that is my fee, and if you'd like some terms, I'm happy to work on a payment plan.
Or another, that's a possibility. But what you can, there may be a way that when you understand why they're saying that and what they mean by that, there may be a way that you can provide your fees, your services without lowering your fee. For example, if you have a project you're talking about, or something where it may be a series of trainings or consulting over a period of time, maybe you can do fewer sessions or shorten it somehow to work it out so that the client still gets benefits, only you're not providing as many services. That way you're not lowering your fee.
Yes. It's hard to go back once you've gone that direction, right?
Your fee. But the thing is, if you lower your fee, you're in trouble because you're setting a precedent. And it also undermines your confidence in a big way. Mm-hmm. If you're talking to someone about how we can work this out, coming from a conversational, collaborative point of view, you're working something out. It's not a yes, no, my fees are this, yes or no, you take it or not. Right. You can work out something in many cases. Very seldom have I had a client say, well, absolutely not. It's just a matter of really understanding them and what they're looking for and how you can provide it at the fees that work for them also.
Mm-hmm. You talk about outcomes, power, income. And when you talk about outcomes, your income goes up. So let's talk a little bit about outcomes. What are some of the outcomes that you suggest and recommend?
This is so important. And if you remember one thing from this conversation, make it this. When you talk about outcomes, your income goes up. And you can quote me on that. Let's give an example. Many people have an elevator speech. And there are formulas out there for writing your elevator speech. Many of them talk about who you work with and what you do. So, for example, I'm an accountant. I work with entrepreneurs and do their taxes, etc. Or I work with women who want to advance their careers. Well, that's not results. That's talking about you. What you want to do is, I recommend writing a 90-second results statement. For example, for an accountant, I was working with someone one time, and she would go to a lot of networking meetings and chamber meetings, things like that, where everyone goes around the room and introduces themselves. And she was saying, when she came to me, no one comes up to me afterwards. Nobody wants to know more about what I do or have a meeting. Yeah. And then so I said, well, tell me what your elevator speech is. Tell me what you say. And she would say, oh, usually I say I'm an accountant and I work with entrepreneurs, and we organize their their finances. We get them up on accounting software if they're not there already. And we do their tax preparation. And sometimes we also train their staff. It was like a list of things that she did, like a menu.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything about results. So I worked with her, and after that, we practiced. That's a big part of what I do is practice with people so they're comfortable. She went to a meeting and she called me afterwards and said, "Oh, all these people came up to me afterwards." So I said, "Well, what did you say?" And she said, I make it possible for entrepreneurs to retire 2 to 3 years earlier than they thought they could. For example, when I work with entrepreneurs, many times their finances aren't organized and they're not yet up on accounting software, or there have been changes in the software and the staff doesn't know how to use it. I make sure all of that's taken care of so they don't wonder about when they'll retire or if they can retire. That's a 90-second results statement. It tells now which is best for the accountant to say, I do all these many things for entrepreneurs, or I make it possible for them to retire.
Yes, I mean, it's what's in it for me or what's in it for them, right? At the end of the day, they're more interested in finding out what's in it for them.
That's exactly what people want to know. Yes.
Yeah. So your book is obviously another thing we can talk about real quick. It's called Raise Your Fees Without Losing Clients. And you're in a big book launch right about now. So tell folks how they can get a hold of your book and when is it official?
Great. Okay. Glad to do that. My book is called Raise Your Fees Without Losing Clients. Why wait? 5 simple steps to the income you want. And the official launch day is May 11th. So it's coming right up. I do have, if you want to find out more about it, we're having a launch party on May 11th from 12 to noon to 1 p.m. We're going to have prizes and fun and lots of excitement going on then. So it's important to be there on May 11th and also buy the book on May 11th. So to find out all the details, I'll be releasing those in the next day or so. It's best if you go to my community, Raise Your Fees Without Losing Clients, on Facebook. It's a Facebook group where you'll find lives and videos and all the information there is on the launch party.
Fantastic. So what are your final thoughts here to leave behind for folks? Have we missed anything?
No, everything I've talked about today is detailed a lot more in the book. Plus, people can apply what they're learning in the book to their own business right there. There's a place for them to answer questions so that they can create their own 90-second results statement, for example. My final thoughts would be, remember, when you talk about outcomes, your income goes up. So make a list of results that you've helped your clients achieve. That's the starting place. And then start talking about those results. The next thing, as I was saying, is be sure to commit to raising your fees. Don't let anything stop you. And be there for our wonderful launch party on May 11th from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's fantastic. I'm going to definitely put that on my calendar for May 11th. Jan's new book launch is just about around the corner. I mean, we only had another couple of days and we'll be through with April of 2020.
I know, exactly right. What do they say? Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes. So, by the way, you've also applied to speak at the upcoming We Empower You Global Virtual Summit, which I want folks out there watching and listening to know more about. And that is coming up June the 8th. It's the We Empower You Global Virtual Summit. And we're so excited. Not sure where that's coming from. We're so excited to be welcoming Jan to the stage along with about 24 speakers on the day. It goes from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. You're going to want to get your free ticket at weempoweryourlife.com. Click on the Summit Tickets tab to get your free ticket. And you must RSVP to get the Zoom details. So that's what we always encourage people to do. The benefits of being part of this, of course, is that we have topics that are featuring speakers that are going to help you to take your business to the next level in 5 categories. That's business, leadership, love, life, and health. And we are so excited to be welcoming you, Jan, into this wonderful realm that we've had. This will be our 9th summit. We kicked off June of 2020, right when COVID had reared its ugly head. And we are going to have a component that is a paid component, and it'll be live in the Seattle area for those of you who are planning to attend. There'll be more details on our website about that in the coming weeks. And again, to get a hold of you, you're going to want to go to raiseyourfees.com website for Jan Wallen, and very much loved having you here today.
Wonderful, Bettina. Thank you ever so much. And I'm so glad to be a part of Shattering Your Glass Ceiling and also the summits.
Yes, and we're going to be looking forward to seeing each other, also continuing on with Nancy Jutton from the Broadcast Your Brilliance Boot Camp. And she's another wonderful star and shining star out there, helping folks to, broadcast their brilliance and get more visible. And I'm really looking forward to her upcoming program.
Yes.
So that said, I'm going to be announcing here our next show here on Rainier Avenue Radio is a special broadcast of Street Beat that's going to be featuring Kathy Sledge of Group Sister Sledge at 2 p.m. Thank you so much, Jan, for joining us here today. And for those out there listening and watching, please be sure to leave a comment, and I read them all, as I say, every week. Join us each and every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye for now. Stay well, everybody. Take care. Coaching is a noble profession, but in these current tumultuous times, so many talented coaches are finding that they simply cannot connect with people that they could be helping. And people need our help more than ever these days. That is why I conceived the We Empower You Global Community and Global Virtual Summit. I'm Bettina, Carey, and I'm inviting you to join with some of the world's leading empowerment coaches, trainers, authors, mentors, and thought leaders for our upcoming We Empower You Global Virtual Summit. There's an old adage and saying that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. It is in that spirit of togetherness that we aim to help connect more talented coaches to the people that they might help. Join us for free and share your knowledge in this Find Wealth by Giving endeavor. And there isn't a hidden fee or big sales pitch at the end. You will be shoulder to shoulder with some of the world's best thought leaders, newsmakers, and game changers. And you will see for yourself exactly what the We Empower You global community and membership is all about. It's a blend of altruism and business, to be sure. This endeavor is audacious, and we hope to plant seeds that take deep roots. So we need you. If you have a goal of helping others reach and achieve that next rung, if your work aids in lifting people out of self-limiting beliefs, if you're ready to fix the world one client at a time, or spread your message to the masses, you're welcome to join us for our We Empower You Global Summit. Tickets are free, but RSVP is required. Scan the QR code if you're watching on TV, or go to our website at weempoweryourlife.com and click on the Summit Tickets tab to get more information and to claim your free Zoom admission ticket. We empower you. Together we will go far.
You are